Kanye West has been ordered to pay $200,000 per month in child support to Kim Kardashian. Wanted to highlight the absurdity of this idea, mainly based on the fact that no kid needs $200,000 a month, even though they have four, and I guess it's divided, and maybe it's like $50,000 a month per kid. I think the idea that someone wealthy is just obligated to provide their kids an extravagant lifestyle is honestly crazy. You can have someone that's pretty wealthy and wants their kids to maybe learn to be like normal, or maybe they just want to give their kids a normal life. But the idea that the government's mandating that he pays that amount, when honestly a kid can usually be supported for, I don't know, maybe $400 to $1,000 per month. Like, that's insane that they're making him pay about 400 times that amount. So right here it's saying in California, the average amount of support is about $430 per child each month. And then they go on to explain like the court's decision saying divorce can't be the reason these kids don't travel or live in a certain way, what they're used to. Like, basically the idea that it's like these kids are almost deserving of that type of lifestyle because they have a wealthy parent. I'm not the biggest Kanye fan out there. I think he said a lot of crazy stuff. But to me, it's more just the principle of the government stepping in and saying, we are going to take X amount of dollars from you per month to support these kids. And if you're wealthier, it's going to be a much higher amount. It highlights how these kids attend private school. What if Kanye West hypothetically didn't want his kids to attend private school anymore? What if he wanted them to go to public school or a charter school? Okay, it talks about how they travel internationally with their parents on private jets. He's saying their lifestyles can't be disrupted in any way by their parents' divorce. So in other words, if parents provide their kids with certain goods and then they get divorced, the courts can basically mandate that the parents continue to provide those kids with that type of lifestyle. Even if you have someone who's not near as wealthy as Kanye West, let's say they have a net worth of maybe $1 or $2 million instead of hundreds of millions or more. If they want their kids to live a regular life, the courts could potentially make them pay a lot more in child support. I want to show some of the comments because I completely agree with them. It's saying, why are the kids entitled to such a lavish style if the pillar of such lavish style is no longer supporting the family nucleus? Circumstances change, and so adjustments should be made. $200K a month sounds excessive. I agree. There's parents who make maybe less than $200,000 a year. Most people do make less than that in a year. There's families who make $70,000 a year, or maybe $50,000 a year, up to $100,000 a year. They still provide their kids a great life. So the idea that he has to provide $2.4 million per year for his kids is insane. And I don't know why more people aren't talking about this and also alimony laws as being extremely unfair, extremely unjust, extremely, you can say, undemocratic. People don't really vote on that, and they're not always informed before having kids or getting married of the full implications of the law. Right here, California and New York states are not for marriage, no common sense laws, no reason to get married, just have a family without the state involved. Yeah, no reason to get married, just have a family without the state involved, okay? So it's like providing disincentives for people to get married. Must have had a good lawyer talking about Kardashian. Well, I would have been happy with $200,000 one time. Lol, must be nice. So again, just the absurdity of the government stepping in and saying we are going to forcibly extract this wealth from an individual and force him to give it to his kids. Maybe he doesn't want to give that amount to his kids. Maybe he wants to provide for their necessities, but doesn't believe that they should get that kind of wild money when they're literal children. That's not really the state's role to step in and say we're going to force it. People, from my understanding, they can go to jail over not paying child support. So this is insane. And it's not that I feel It's not that I like Kanye West necessarily. It's not, I mean, I don't, but it's just the principle behind it. That this could happen to a frugal, hardworking individual who has less money than Kanye West. They could still be forced by the government to basically have to pay huge amounts of wealth to provide their kids with a lifestyle that they never had and that they don't even want to give their children in the first place.